Hey guys, so Ty Cohen here. So here's something that you can use to truly understand if someone likes your book, especially before you've released it. Maybe you're giving out some samples. Maybe you're giving out a couple of manuscripts that you've selected a few friends and family members to read. Maybe you've given some of these to some of your peers, right? And you want to find out what they truly think about your book. So here's 10 questions that you can ask. And when you ask these 10 questions, instead of giving your book to someone and saying, hey, I'd love some feedback on this, you'll be able to clearly pinpoint where your book goes well as where it goes wrong. You'll also be able to pinpoint like what characters people love the most. You'll start to be able to pinpoint where the story starts to take a dip, right? As well as where the excitement in the story comes into play. Because when you're so close to it, it's hard to kind of tell all of these different things. So I'm going to give you 10 questions that you should ask. And I want you to put in the comments, let me know which of these questions you like the best, right? And which ones you're going to use. You should be using all 10, but let me know which ones are your favorite. So here's 10 questions to ask that will not put your friend in a tough spot, but will still give you some useful input on your novel, all right? The first one is, at what point did you feel like, now the story is starting to start up, right? Now the story is really beginning. So at what point did you feel like now the story is really starting to begin? And the reason why I like this question is because it allows you to really kind of tell where your dull points are, especially at the very beginning of a story, right? It could take some time to kind of ramp up, especially if this is book number 1, right? So this question right here allows you to kind of figure out at what point most people are going to start to sit up and pay attention, all right? Question number 2, what were the points where you found yourself skimming, all right? At what points in the book did you find yourself kind of just going in and thumbing through and skimming through, right? Now, you're probably going to be not giving them a physical copy of your book. You're going to be giving them like a digital copy, right? Maybe a Word doc or something like that, a PDF or so. But you can still ask this question. At what point did you find yourself skimming through, kind of getting bored? Because this allows you to let you know where you need to ramp the story up a little bit, right? And make it a little bit more exciting. The third question is, which setting in the book was clearest to you as you were reading it? So which setting in the book was clearest to you as you were reading it? Which do you remember best? And again, this allows people to kind of go back and think. And if there's someone that pays attention, it'll allow you to get confirmation from them as far as what areas of a book stand out the most, right? Which areas stand out the most, right? So they have this clarity, which areas are clearest to you. Because your readers are going to experience the same thing for the most part. And then question number 4, which character would you most like to meet and get to know? Like, which character would you most like to meet in real life and get to know? This allows you to get an idea as to which characters are more lively, which characters are those characters that people kind of gravitate towards, all right? So that's a really good question when it comes to kind of filling out your characters, okay? And then question number 5, what was the most suspenseful moment in the book? What was the most suspenseful moment in the book? All right, so another great question there. Question number 6, if you had to pick one character to get rid of, who would you axe? Like, who would you give the axe to? If you had to pick just one question or one character to get rid of, who would that character be? All right. So again, this allows you to kind of double down on getting a better understanding as to, what characters people don't like. So you're going the opposite way, right? Which characters people really like and are gravitating towards, and which ones don't people really feel too much, all right? And then question number 7, was there a situation in the novel that reminded you of something in your own life? This is a very interesting question here, right? Was there a situation in the novel that reminded you of something in your own life? Now, here's the thing. You've got a huge variety of readers that are going to read your novel, and not everyone is going to find a certain situation in the book that kind of reminds them in their own life. But this is one of those questions. It becomes a fun question where people will start to search for things in their own life, and in some cases will even make things up to fit what happened in the book, right? And if you get enough of those, then you can kind of even incorporate some of this stuff in your book if you want to go back and revise it or edit it, all right? Question number 8, where did you stop reading? This is a good one. Where did you stop reading the first time you cracked open the manuscript? So the first time you opened it up, where did you stop reading? All right. This can show you where like those beginning dull parts are at in the book, right? And kind of help you to fix your pacing. All right. So question number 8 is a good one. Number 9, what was the last book that you read before this? So what was the last book that you read before my book here? And what did you think of it? Now, this question here allows you to really take their comments, so all of the comments that they gave you and the last 8 questions, and put those comments into context, all right, in surprising ways. Because what you'll do is when you find out what that last book was, right, you'll get an understanding of what their general interest is, and it will surprise you, right? Because sometimes you might give your book to a family member or a friend, and if they're not really into reading romance or whatever it may be, and their answers will surprise you. Okay, so and it allows you to put it into context what they've given you so far. And then question number 10. This is a big one right here. Finish this sentence. I kept reading because ... I kept reading because. This gives you clarity and insight as to like what really pulled people into the book. I kept reading because I wanted to find out what was going to happen with Luke, right? Or I kept reading because I wanted to see if, John and Laura's relationship would flourish even more. I kept reading because XYZ, right? So finish this sentence. I kept reading because ... And then let them go in and kind of add their own ending to that. So there you go. So 10 questions to ask someone that has just read your book. And I don't think you should give them these questions beforehand, right? So you want to go in, give them your book, let them read it, and then you say, hey, can we sit down for like 10 minutes? I promise it'll only take 5 or 10 minutes, and I want to ask you a couple of questions and see what how you answer, right? This will give you a ton of insight. It'll let you know where you should ramp up your book. It'll let you know where you should double down. It'll let you know how your characters are coming across, and it can give you a ton of insight. So like I said, let me know which of these 10 questions you like the best. Which one would you go in and use immediately? You should be using a ton of them, all right? And then last but not least, if you want a copy of my book, Kindle Publishing Secrets, you can go over to kindlecashflow.com/K for Kindle, P for Publishing, S for Secrets, and get a copy of this thing for just $7.95. This book has pretty much a ton of information that I've been able to use to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars publishing books on Amazon, and so have many of my students, right? So this information is all compiled into one neat little cool book, and you can go get a copy for just $7.95. Let me know which of those 10 questions do you like the most, and when are you going to start implementing this 10 questions?